So, YouTube user Shoot@Square asks, I am a 22-year-old dude, and I've started dating a girl in the last couple weeks. It's going very well. We're texting every day and connecting, etc. Yes. My concern is how slow things are moving. More specifically, we haven't kissed yet. At the end of both of our organized dates, she'd quickly go for a hug and leave. It's not a problem I've had before, and she definitely likes me a lot and seems interested in having a relationship. I wanted to ask you guys how to get things moving on, as I don't want to...
Oh no.
Siri's talking to me, sorry.
I'm not sure I understand. How do I get things moving on? I'm not sure I understand.
Sorry.
Explain what you mean by moving on.
Siri thought she had an opinion on this. Okay. I wanted to ask you guys how to get things moving on more, as I don't want the sexual... Sorry. I wanted to ask you guys how to get things moving more, as I don't want the spark or the sexual tension to dissipate.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I got two disparate thoughts on this.
Go for it.
So one, you talk about how based on your question, I'm making a guess. You talk about how at the end of dates, there's a quick hug and then she leaves, which makes me think that you think the date should have a kiss at the end.
Yeah.
I often find that the best dates, it's not that you have this date with no physical contact and then at the end you kiss. I think a lot of times these dates you don't touch. There's this physical barrier that never gets even close to being, influenced. And then there's this we've never touched, and I want to lean in for this leap. And so I think you'd be better off if you just were touching throughout the whole date to the level that she's comfortable with. So if she doesn't want to kiss you because she's not comfortable with it, is she comfortable with holding hands? Is she comfortable with having your arm around her? Any date I've ever been on where I kissed the person, I had my arm around them at some point before the date. Mm-hmm. We were holding hands while we walked. Even a first date. I've known this person for an hour. We go for a walk from one bar to another. I'll put my arm around her for a brief second, or when I laugh, I'll touch her. So there's that aspect of, are you helping to create this physical force field, and then she feels uncomfortable at the end of the date because you guys haven't touched at all. And so she likes you, but it's like not comfortable with your physical contact, so she doesn't want to be leapt at. Mm-hmm. That's a possibility. The other possibility is that there's a million things happening in her life or that have happened in her life that I don't know, that you don't know. Yeah. And so what I would suggest is to talk to her.
This is what I was thinking.
And so in general on dates, my advice is try to, get used to touching each other in non-sexual ways, holding hands, high-fiving, shoulder touches. But with this person who likes you, maybe she's got trauma. Yeah. Maybe there's religious reasons. Yeah. Maybe she just feels weird. Maybe
she's been waiting for you. Yeah, who knows?
Maybe there's a million things. Yeah. So I would say just talk to her.
Yeah, and the way to do that is, and this is easier said than done, especially the first time, it's a non-needy conversation.
Yeah, no expectations. You're not demanding a kiss. You're not upset. You're literally just, and you don't care which way it breaks down.
It could go like this. You don't need to copy my words, but this is the attitude that you should tap into. Is, hey, this might be totally random to bring up now, but I wanted to ask you because it's strange for me. We've been dating for a couple weeks and we've never kissed. That's not what I'm used to. And I just wanted to talk to you to see if there's something that you're uncomfortable with, or if that's weird for you as well, and just talk about it.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do a little charisma breakdown on Charlie here. So two things that were really good there, and take this mindset more than the exact words, but he acknowledged that it was weird. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people, they're like, how do I broach this conversation? It makes me feel uncomfortable. You say, hey, I don't know how to broach this conversation. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Yeah. But whatever you feel. So just tap into your feelings, and then you start by saying how you feel and acknowledging it, rather than, we just made a video on awkwardness. Things get awkward when you hide that.
Yeah.
And so that would be my first thing. The second thing he did just now is he spoke about himself. So you wouldn't come in and you'd say, hey, I know this is totally random, but we haven't kissed in 3 dates, and that's weird. That's not right. You're supposed to kiss if you're dating. Mm-hmm. That would be terrible, and you would deserve a bad reaction. He said, I know this is totally random, but we haven't kissed, and for me, that's unusual. So he's just talking about himself, and he's saying, I have this question because, to me, I'm not used to this. So help me understand why this is happening. And I think those are two very helpful ways to ever have a conversation that's difficult or awkward, is you kind of acknowledge what's happening and bring it to the forefront that it's random. And then you just talk about yourself. Mm-hmm. You say, hey, I was wondering what's going on. Mm-hmm. And you don't put any judgment on the person about what's supposed to happen or what they're doing is wrong.
And you could even, it was only after I turned probably 29 or 30 that I could do this comfortably. because prior to that, it was all about being attractive. It was all about saying the right thing. And the nice thing is when you get into the mentality of non-neediness, you can't say the wrong thing.
Well, you would be, and again, this is a very hard thing, but you would be willing to have the conversation go bad and have her say,
I'd be like, do you want to kiss me or not?
No, or like,
like
should we, like, are we friends?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
more,
yeah.
this is what you would do.
I'd be just
You'd be like,
curious.
yeah, there's no skin off my back. I'm
Yeah.
totally fine. And I think with dating, you feel this way. You're totally fine. You don't particularly care one way or
And
the
what that
other.
allows me to do is all of the things that we talk about on the channel. I can bring levity into it. I can bring it all, but it all comes from this non-needy. I don't have to make this situation go anyway.
Sure, and so
I'm just
you're
trying to
not
uncover what's
trying to
happening.
manipulate her into kissing you.
Yes.
You're trying to understand
What's going
happening.
on? Because I'm confused.
What's going on
Yeah.
in the relationship between you and in her head? What's unspoken?
Yeah.
That mindset will have the best possible conversation. And the best possible conversation is an honest one. It's not one that leads to you having sex right then and there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I think one potential problem I see a lot is the lack of touching during the date, and then this weird physical barrier appears.
The talking,
but at the end of the day,
the talking will take it over.
Yeah.
You'll do it, and it'll work, and you guys will, have a
You'll have an
wonderful
honest
relationship, Or
understanding.
she'll be like, I'm not feeling it, or she'll be like, hey, 2 more, whatever. Like,
you'll have an honest understanding.
yes, you will be asking her who is the best person to ask rather than us.